You know that when you were younger, at least for me, I grew up, it's Gen X. I grew up, and there are certain things you could do to avoid showing ID and then being carded and all that stuff. Kids, we found a way to get around the system all the time. But it didn't negate the system. They still had the system in place, and just because many got around it didn't mean they took it away, right? It logic would tell you don't take it away. There are a few that might get in and a few might not, but for the most part, it's a working system. A logically thinking brain would tell you that. Now, as for the kid walking into the bar, one of two things have to be true about the kid in order for them to get through. They don't look like a kid, so they might be 13 looking 85, or they know the owner of the bar and they're only letting them in to get milk. I don't think that'll be the case, right? Okay. So why is it, if you ain't gonna let a kid buy cigarettes and get alcohol and go into a bar, why is it that uh, being carded to watch porn is a problem? Pornhub thinks it's a problem anyway. Pornhub, it's one of the top dogs when it comes to pornography, way up there. Everybody knows them. They have a problem with new laws that says, okay, you have to be ID'd every time you access their content. They think that is a breach of client. Understand, I'm still confused sitting here as I'm saying this, and I have to remind myself that I read it and it's true. They have a problem with people being carded because it is infringing on their rights to do what they want to do. Now, mind you, the reason they put the law in place is to avoid children accessing Pornhub. Now, I'm going to read for you what Pornhub states as their reasons for what they've now done is cut access from certain states to get into Pornhub. So certain states can't see any pornography. They should be happy. But here's what Pornhub said. And I'm quoting this. This is not me making this up. This is what they said. And if it makes you lose brain cells, join my club, because I lost brain cells too. While safety and compliance are at the forefront of our mission, giving your ID card every time you want to visit an adult platform is not the most effective solution for protecting our users, and in fact, will put children and your privacy at risk. Please explain to me how showing ID and having ID is a risk factor for users. Because right now you have, okay, let's put it, you have no restrictions right now. A child can log on to Pornhub, just say they're 18, put in a fake date if they want to, and they're good to go. No real restrictions. You're telling me that by putting in one extra measure of security by having an ID will be exponentially worse for children? So the freedom to get to it, that's not the problem. Blocking them from getting to it, that will give them more access to it. Are you stupid? What? Sorry. Pornhub, it's you. I'm forgetting that you deal in pornography. And for those who don't know, pornography damages your brain. Yes, it does. Science has shown that overexposure to pornography deadens the brain. So am I, and should I be surprised that Pornhub thinks that more security means more access for kids and less security means less access for kids? I can't be surprised that they're thinking like that. But what does it mean? It means that they have now become, people have become so desensitized to children seeing certain things that there is a porn company out there that is rooting for your child to view their content and are calling them users. Now, I understand back in the day, we had stores. You had uh, gas stations where you could go into the gas station and there was a section of in there for the magazines and they were all blurred out. I get that you had access back in the day. Didn't make it right then either. But unlike today, where it's unfettered access, back then there were major restrictions. Some stores didn't enforce them. Like I said before, though, it does not negate the having of the rule. The cities that Pornhub has cut access to, not the state. Pornhub has removed services from these states: Arkansas, Virginia, Mississippi, Utah, and Louisiana. Now, as I said, you who live in those states should be happy that you no longer have access to Pornhub. No one should. It shouldn't exist. But here we are talking about it because it does. Parents, as a former addict myself, I will tell you this. Do not for an instant believe that drugs, alcohol, and smoking are more addictive than pornography. It is not. I would dare say that they actually outdo them in addiction. I have been to the precipice of pornography, and I'm telling you now that it is worse than drug use because it's so normal. It's a normal human function that you're exploiting to the nth degree, as opposed to putting some strange drug in your body and having to acquire it. Pornography is everywhere. And it starts off in Mills and Boons. It starts off in J.C. Penney's, Sears, Roebuck. Yeah, those are old magazines. That's where it started. Swimsuit edition in ESPN. It's everywhere. Now PG movies have it like it's running rampant everywhere. PG is now R, and R is now X. It's available. Our job as parents is exponentially worse. And now we have porn companies pushing to not have any age verification for their content. This is where we are. And we really have one option, not two, one. And that option is to parent, not to, I don't know, be a guardian. We are parents. We're supposed to hone our kids' mind to think straight, keep them from the wrong and tell them why it's wrong, push them to the right. People like Pornhub are the ones you're fighting against to keep the sanity and the safety of your children. I am glad that those states no longer have access to Pornhub, and I hope that they cut more states so they can lose more money and eventually go out of business. It'll be a glorious day when that happens. Until then, make sure you stay prayed up and stay in front of your kids, open the door for communication, and help them understand that this is dangerous and they need to stay away from it.